Folks, I come before you right now a completely distraught man, a broken man. I have never experienced something like this in my sports fandom, and I know that I can be very hyperbolic at times, and I can say things that just are comedically over the line by saying this is one of the craziest things ever. This is, and I'm not bullshitting you, one of the craziest trades in the history of American sports. Quite possibly one of the craziest trades in the history of the NBA, most certainly in recent times. I'm trying my best to process this. It is 1:58 a.m. as of the time I'm recording this. I just finished a 2-hour live stream. If you guys want to check I went live 5 to 10 minutes after the news broke. If you want to check my immediate initial reactions, I recommend that. But I wanted to make this video just because on the stream, I was incoherent. I was rambling. I was ranting. I was yelling at chat. I was doing all this. I just want to just briefly talk about this in just as concise of a manner as possible. Because I can't for the life of me. I mean, I was saying, if this is a puzzle, if it's a puzzle, we're trying to fit all the pieces together. We have this piece down here. There's a full puzzle that we do not know. And you know, there's stuff that's being reported. I'm not going to lie. I'm hearing stuff. I not from sources that I feel confident enough to fully share with, but I'm hearing stuff as well that pretty much backs up all of the stuff that we're hearing in the media. But this is just absolutely shocking. Luka, in case you need me to explain to you what the fuck happened, the Mavs have traded Luka Doncic. Mid-season, out of nowhere, without consulting anybody. Without consulting Luka. You might see this as like, oh, Luka demanded a trade. Didn't happen. Did not happen. The Mavs get Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and 1 first-round pick. No, you didn't mishear me. No, there's not a typo. No, there's not something missing. I know what the fuck you're thinking right now. Mikal Bridges went for 5 first-round picks. Rudy Gobert went for 5 first-round picks. Donovan Mitchell went for 5 first-round picks. And you're telling me Luka Doncic gets you 1 singular first-round pick and a 31-year-old who, guess what, just got hurt. And it's always hurt. You heard me correctly. This is trading Luka is unimaginable. And then you have Windhorst going on the, I feel bad using Siddery here, but Windhorst went on ESPN, and I heard him talk about this, that the Mavericks did not view Luka Doncic as a moving block moving forward, as their franchise building block moving forward. This is one of the most shocking turn of events I have ever witnessed in anything. This might be more shocking than Donald Trump being elected as president in 2016. This felt unimaginable for years. I have so many questions that we'll never get an answer to. I have so many questions that from what I understand, and this was relayed to me from a friend that I wrote off jokingly a week ago, that he was boys with somebody on the training staff or somebody who has connections to the training staff, and that Luka was not working with the training staff. That was something that was told to me a week ago. Now, I don't know how reliable of a source this is. It was he said, she said, passed down. And I just kind of looked at it and laughed it off. Because I'm not going to lie. People DM me all the time. It's like, hey, man, my uncle's a janitor at the American Airlines Center, and this happened. I'm like, bro, I'm not taking that as anything. But then Windhorst goes on, and he's saying on ESPN that the Mavs no longer view them as their franchise building block moving forward. He goes on ESPN and says he's getting texts from people around the league that basically says the only way the Mavs do this is if they, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he did use the word hate, is if Nico Harrison hated Luka, and they must have really hated Luka. There's no other explanation other than this. Which is why I'm saying there's so many sides to the story that we don't know, and stuff that we will never know. Stuff that we will never know. I'm trying to process this as, we could talk about, hey, we didn't like the way Luka conditioned himself. We didn't think Luka took this, and that seriously. But for Wendy to go on ESPN after and say the Mavs didn't feel like they could win at the highest level with Luka, for Tim McMahon to tweet out after that The Mavs had major concerns about moving forward Luka Doncic due to his constant conditioning issues and the looming commitment of another Supermax extension. This quote directly from Nico Harrison himself. I believe that defense wins championships. Mavs GM Nico Harrison told ESPN regarding his motivation to trade Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis. I believe that getting an all-defensive center and an all-NBA player with a defensive mindset gives you a better chance. We're built to win now and in the future. Motherfucker, you were just built now to win. You were just built to win. You were just in the NBA Finals. You were just in the NBA Finals. Nico, you were just there. Do you know, hey, you know, some teams have never been there, right? You know how hard that is to do? Some teams have never made it there. Joel Embiid has never made it past the second round. Fuck the NBA Finals. You know how hard that is to do? You don't make it there unless you're built to win now. Them trying to frame this immediately as a win now trade is a slap in the face to you, to me, fans of the franchise. It's a slap in the face. I'm not sure how you look your locker room in the eye. The guys, Klay Thompson left the Golden State Warriors, man. He's going to get a statue outside of that arena. He left the Golden State Warriors to come here. A huge leap of faith. What was one of the biggest selling points for him? I get to play alongside Luka Doncic, his all-time great offensive engine. He's going to give me so many great looks. That was pitched to him. I guarantee you it. And he's probably said it. That was probably the first fucking bulletin point on their pitch to Klay Thompson. Look at how many open shots you're going to get next to Luka Doncic. How do you look him in the eye? Tell him, hey, man, we're winning now. How do you look Kyrie Irving in the eye? He's 32 years old, man. He's probably looking at this situation and saying, I don't have, I got a back injury. I've been going crazy the last month. I'm playing through a back injury trying to will this team to wins without Luka. I probably have realistically 3 or 4 years left of really high-level basketball. How do you look him in the eye and tell him that you're winning now? How do you look Najee Marshall, who just signed a contract with you in free agency? Probably had a ton of suitors. How? Unless there's real behind-the-scenes shit that we don't know about. And that has to be the answer. That has to be. There's nothing else. There's shit behind the scenes that we don't really fully grasp. Okay? Because, look, man, Kyrie, I fucking love Kyrie Irving. Huge all-star snub. I love him. Great number 2. One of, if not maybe the best number 2 in the league. Anthony Davis is not winning you a championship, man. Oh, and Max Christie, which hilariously enough, the Mavericks need a guy like that. So they won the trade. Let's go back to the trade. Yeah, you might be looking at this and think, wait, what the hell? The Mavericks traded Luka Doncic and also traded a second-round pick? Yes. We don't know what the fuck's going on here. This is genuinely the most shocking turn of events I can ever remember, ever. And let me lay out all of my problems and all of the answers we need to have as fans, and we deserve. Because this guy, if Luka's 33 years old, okay, different conversation. If Luka demanded a trade, okay, your hand was forced a little bit. He's got free agency looming. It's a little bit scary. Completely different situation. Luka's 25 years old. What's the biggest slap in the face? What hurts the most right now? The last time we saw him, and the last time we will see him, because I had some people in the chat, you think he comes back in free agency? Are you shitting me? He might pull his pants down and take a shit and piss in the middle of the fucking floor when he comes back here. The last time we as fans saw him on the court for our team, he got injured in a Christmas Day game. That's it. Our last memories of him in a Mavericks jersey is limping off the court. What a slap in the face, man. What a slap in the face. And then, okay, fine. You decide as a franchise. All the reporting on this says Nico Harrison damn near went rogue, and I don't want to say that because he's a GM of the team. That's not going rogue. But Nico Harrison was hell-bent on trading Luka Doncic. And I'm hearing stuff. They said it on TV. I'm hearing other things. I don't think Nico liked Luka at all. I don't know how deep that bled into the organization. You know, Nico and Kid are close. I don't want to say how they feel. I don't know, but it probably bleeds down a little bit. I mean, it would have to. You decide you want to trade him. Okay. Guess what my main gripe is trading Luka, but guess what the worst part is? That's what the Utah Jazz trade for 1 trillion picks for. That's what the Oklahoma City Thunder trade for 1 million picks for. That's what all of these teams, that's what the San Antonio Spurs trade for 1 million picks for. The Spurs would need a guard. They're talking about De'Aaron Fox. What the fuck would they have offered you if you called them about Luka? You don't open a bidding war for him? Because all the reporting says AD was the guy you wanted to trade Luka Doncic for. Nico, hey, you know he's 32. Hey, are you also trading for a time machine in this deal? Because then how the fuck else does this make sense at all? He's 32 years old, $55, $60 million next 3 years. AD is a great, fantastic player. And when the dust settles, yeah, I mean, of course I'm going to be excited to see Anthony Davis play. I mean, what the fuck? At the cost of this, though? I mean, I love Luka Doncic. He's my favorite player in the league. I know that there's been people that are in this community, people who think over time that for some reason, that I dislike him. Couldn't be further from the truth. I fucking love him. I adore him. I love watching him play basketball. I love his competitive spirit on the court. There's no one has the motherfucker like he has in the league. I loved it. I love the fact that it was for my favorite team. I love the fact that he would embarrass a team in the playoffs, talk shit, and everyone's gassing him up, and I get to say, that's my fucking guy. I got to go to Game 5, Oklahoma City Thunder series, second round of the Western Conference Finals. Series tied 2-2. The Mavericks just shit and piss all over themselves in Game 4. The crowd's going crazy in Oklahoma City. They think that this is a big swing moment in the series. They win this game. They probably go to the conference finals. What a great story. I watched Luka walk into that building and walk them down. The moment the game started, Luka Doncic was not losing that basketball game no matter what. And I was saying on the way out, I had Thunder fans friendly talking shit, and I'm like, you guys don't have that killer yet on your team. That guy's a fucking killer. And there might only be a handful of them in the league. He is a fucking murderer, man. The biggest moments, no matter what, he's ready. It's go time. Mavs up 3-0 against the Timberwolves. They lose Game 4. They go back to Minnesota. There's always a feeling in the air. Man, if we get to send this to a Game 6, like, oh, think about it. Luka walks them down. Game 7 against the Suns, 2022. That was a mid-60 win team. Game 7. Luka outscored them in the first quarter as a team. Walked them down. There's only a handful of guys like that in the league, man. You might not like his conditioning. And look, I said the thing earlier about the training staff. I don't know if that's true or not. Then get a new fucking training staff. Man, this is shocking. So I don't know. I don't get how you don't open up a bidding war because, dude, how do you not? How and then how do you get stonewalled in negotiations by the Lakers? This isn't a negotiation. Look, I'm calling the Lakers. Hey, for whatever reason, we're trading Luka Doncic. We want everything. Hang up the phone. The Lakers will call you back and say yes. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine them not saying yes? And then can you imagine it somehow coming out that, hey, the Lakers could have traded for Luka and they didn't? Can you imagine how their fan base would have reacted to that? Dog, I see mock trades of them trading 2 firsts for Miles fucking Turner. You couldn't get their other first-round pick in this trade? How the fuck do you leave with 1 first-round pick in this deal? Now you don't even really have you don't even have mobility to go out and make more trades. Like, you need a guard now. So now, and then my conspiratorial brain comes in. Cuban selling the team last year now there's a different light shine on that. I look at that completely differently now. I viewed it at the time. It's always kind of weird when an owner sells, especially when the team's doing well. So it was always kind of weird, but I kind of thought, all right, he's probably kind of ready to chill a little bit. The Dumonts, they want gambling in Texas. They want a piece of the first resort casino that goes up. They probably made a huge offer to Cuban that he couldn't refuse. Fine. That all kind of makes sense to me. at the time. I wrote it off as that. This is I view this completely differently now. Completely differently. Cuban had to know. Cuban had to know some shit was up. Cuban had to feel like, hey, this is inevitable. And what's funny is that even then, I don't think there's a world in which Cuban would let this happen if he was in charge. So that's part of it. I mean, what's next? You gotta look your fans in the eye and tell them what's next. He's 25. And you traded him for Anthony Davis, fantastic player, top 10 player in the world. Not poo-pooing Anthony Davis. He's 32. And what is he going to look like? I mean, he's in LA. That's where he always wanted to go. He won a championship there. They're a good team. They're trying to get better. What's his locked-in level going to be here? Huh? Is he fully committed to being here? Do you know that for sure? Because it's always, hey, Nico Harrison was his client. Nico Harrison signed him for Nike. I'm starting to look at that very fucking weirdly. What do you mean? Cool. That can't be what your logic is. It can't be, hey, he was my guy at Nike, so I want him here. Who do you want in return? Luka? Yeah, sure, we'll do it. That can't be it, right? There's got to be other puzzle pieces that fit in. And I have to say right now, if you want to trade Luka Doncic, fine. I detest the fact that immediately he gets shit on his way out. What a slap in the face. Last time we see him on the court, he's limping off the court on Christmas Day. Then next thing we know, he's only like a week away from returning potentially. You trade him, and then beyond that, you shit on him on his way out. That's actually unbelievable, man. You don't even tell him. You don't even have the courtesy to tell him, hey, look, man, we're shopping you. Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I'm going to play devil's advocate here, okay? Just because you have to do it. What is the line of thinking here? And before any of you annoying-ass motherfuckers want to be like, dude, you love Nico Harrison. You said Nico Harrison did great. They made the finals last year. He did do great. I do not think this is a good move for a multitude of different reasons. One, because we already know this. Relationships matter across the league. What message are you sending out to anyone across the league at this point? You already kind of had this reputation. You traded Grant Williams a few months into the contract you signed him to. You traded Seth Curry for the 15th time. He was pissed off. Whatever. Those are role guys. You know, that happens. What message are you sending to the league and potential players who might want to come here, who might be interested in coming here, who might get drafted here, high-profile players down the line, that, hey, we traded Luka when he was 25 years old. Didn't demand a trade. Like, what the fuck are you, what do you think they're going to do to you? Guy who's thinking about signing the mid-level exception here. What do you think they would do to you? They would trade you in a heartbeat. And by the way, if things come out tomorrow morning, I wake up, hey, Klay Thompson wants out. Kyrie Irving wants out. Ramona Shelburne said that Kyrie Irving didn't know. They didn't tell him. He found out on TV. What a disgrace. What a disgrace. Hey, this player wants out. I don't care. I'll ask out. Good. I'm being honest with you guys. I'm going to probably be holding open fan tryouts this week. Look around. I feel like I'm a hot commodity. I bring stuff to the table. I'll make funny stupid little fucking intro bits for you guys. I can go on your podcasts. You know, I'll post one-word reactions on Twitter. You guys let me know, man. Whatever you guys need, fan base-wise, I'm open to options. I'm shopping myself. I mean, what the fuck? But if I'm playing the devil's advocate here and I'm like, okay, I don't even feel good doing this. I don't know. I don't even know. I guess I would say, what? You probably behind closed doors. We're like, hey, Luka, we have target weight goals. Like, we want you to do X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 blah. Recovery-wise from your leg injuries, we want you to do this, this, this. And he wasn't doing those things. And that pissed you off probably to the point of no return. And even that's like, man, really? Like, look, I would get it if that was something that happened with Klay Thompson or PJ Washington or a role guy. Hey, they're playing well, but they're just behind the scenes, man. They're not doing what we want them to do. Okay. For Luka, at 25 years old, You don't think you could work that shit out? And Windhorst said that all indications were that they were signing a Supermax this summer. And then I saw, like, I'm not going to lie, I heard something else that there were people who thought that maybe it felt like an inevitability that Luka was going to ask for a trade at some point. That was how it was starting to feel. He wasn't working with the training staff, whatever the case may be. Okay, we'll sign you to your Supermax, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there, and we'll have an all-time bidding war for you. How do you try to frame this as a win now trade, man? You just fucking traded Luka Doncic. He is your win now. He's your win now and your win later. And then I saw, where's Bobby Marks' tweet on this? I mean, this is the part right here that makes my blood boil to the point of no return. To the point of no return. Anthony Davis waiving his trade bonus. Thank you, Anthony Davis, I guess. Dallas is now $600,000 under the luxury tax. Yeah! Patrick Dumont, Marion Madelson. If this was a trade that was done, a sneaky little trade done, oh, we're trying to get better. If this was a cost savings move under the guise of, we don't really like Luka anymore, how fucking dare you? That better not be the case. That better not be the case. You better make a move or two before down the deadline. If this was an effort to get under the luxury tax and save yourself financially over the next couple of years, fuck you. You need another $100 million for a super PAC for Donald Trump when he runs for his third term in 2028? Is that what you're saving up money for? Aren't you the second richest owner now? That better not be true. What an absolute fiasco, guys. I'm incredibly saddened by this. I'm incredibly saddened. As I mentioned, my favorite player in the sport. I don't know what to feel. I don't know what to say. I have nothing to say to make you guys feel better. I'll be live on this channel over the next week, obviously. I'm not watching the Mavs game on playback tomorrow. I'm just not doing it. I don't want to. I have no desire to at all. Yeah. I mean, how do you tell like an 11-year-old kid who's like just got into basketball this past year and Luka's their favorite player ever? They probably own a couple pair of Lukas. Like, what are you supposed to say to them? We'll see what more comes out of this. Because there's definitely more that comes out of this, and we won't know all of it. We won't know all of it, and we never will. But I want you guys to soak this in, because this is one of the craziest moves in the history of sports. And I mean, you'd really have to go back and check through the course of NBA history. This shit's probably unprecedented. To trade a consensus top 5 player in the league at the peak of his powers, who didn't demand a trade, and to do it in the middle of the season and not have a huge bidding war and not even tell him. Best of luck, guys.